Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. So I have to say, 8 months into the year, this is absolutely my favorite performance in any film that I've seen so far this year. And
Oh, thank you.
I'm excited that it's in a horror film because you don't typically see so much in a genre film. Was this difficult from a psychological, emotional standpoint to get into this role?
I mean, yes, it was hugely. It's a difficult place to decide to let yourself just fall into, but I think letting myself fall into it was sort of key to my preparation. I tried very hard not to overthink this one too much. I mean, she's very impulsive and she's very reckless, and it felt to me important in a way to bring that to my performance by not really knowing what I was going to do. I just worked very hard to allow myself to believe that what was happening in the scene was happening, and let my body and my voice do what it was going to do. I often had no idea what was going to happen. So, I mean, that was kind of a thrilling way to work. And David, thankfully, was very supportive of me doing that.
And being alone for so much of the film and having to act with really the house as the only other
Mm.
partner in every scene, what was that like?
Just exhausting. I mean, just a constant daily stamina issue, frankly. I mean, I don't think I had any idea how much energy you get from other people on a set, like other actors in a scene, just to keep the scene going. Like when you're tired, you've got someone else to like pass it off to, and they can buoy things up again. And this was sort of like, just keep going, Rebecca, keep going. You can do it. Not to mention the crew, who were probably sick of seeing my face after a few days. So I always felt, I felt bad for them. Like I'd have to entertain them between takes, tell some jokes.
Was there a lot of levity between scenes? Because this is such a intense story.
Yeah, there was, there had to be. I think there had to be. It was a very small production. We did it very quickly, but there was a real and I don't know whether this was just because I didn't, it was me a lot of the time, but there was a real closeness between the crew and me, and everyone seemed very on board with making the film work. And, it was one of those jobs that entered, and, every different department made their own t-shirts, and everyone just had their own in jokes. And there was a lot of, it was a tight knit group by the end of it.
And were you drawn to this because it was horror? Do you even view this as a horror film? How did you get involved with it?
I mean, I wouldn't say that I am a obsessive diehard horror fan, like must do horror films. That's not true for me. I mean, it's obviously not true for me looking at my career, but some of my favorite films do happen to be horror films. And I think that when they are done well, they can be incredibly potent and deal with things that are incredibly difficult to address head on, often in straightforward dramas. And I'm often find myself drawn to them as an actor because of that, and because of the sort of extremity of the emotions that you have an opportunity to engage with. Um, so I don't know. It's not the genre. I think it's the film. And I do think that this film is it's a haunted house movie. I think there's also a very, very legitimate argument for it not being anything to do with ghosts at all. And in fact, I think there's an argument for pretty much nothing in the movie happening, and it all happening inside her head, and as a way of getting to the point where she's able to cry about the grief. She's someone who's dealing with a suicide, and was literally out of nowhere. So she's a character who's, in this space of going, wait, I had no idea what my husband was capable of, that he did this. Let's just imagine the most extreme monstrous version of that and see if I can process that. And then if I can process that, then I might be able to actually process what he did. There are a lot of different ways to interpret it. And I think that it does work as a psychological thriller. It does work as a sort of detective story, and it does work as a ghost story as well as a supernatural story. So I think there's a lot for everyone according to what you bring.
Absolutely. And I think that that's my favorite element is the fact that throughout the film, is this actually happening? Is it all in a psychological place? Is this just that trauma and grief? So absolutely loved it. Can't wait for everybody to see it. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Do you guys believe in ghosts? I think there's something in my house. My husband took the boat out on the lake. He took a handgun that I didn't even know that we owned, and
Did he leave a note?
he did. You were right. There is nothing. Nothing is after you. You're safe now.
You said you were safe? Safe from what?
And then over here we have, the husband. You know that we're paying people to do that, right? You don't have to do it all yourself. Owen? I didn't think we had secrets.
Everybody has secrets.
It's our house. But backwards. What the hell was he doing?